Hello everyone. Thank you for joining our first AIOps Power Hour post K25. Today we will be covering how you can supercharge your event management with AI, specifically focusing on our current analysis for ITOM features with a focus on alerts specifically, as well as the recent agentic workflows that we've also released, as in we released it right before Knowledge in early May as well. So today, I will be presenting along with Brandon Strickland and David Deitch, not in that exact order, but you'll be hearing from all of us in today's presentation. And I'll leave it to them to introduce themselves when they start talking later on. So, as you may or may not know, AIOps Power Hour is a series, and I'm curious of the people who are here today, did you manage to catch the AIOps Power Hour that happened in February, which was not too long ago? And maybe this is a brand new series to you. So I just want to figure out where you all are on this. And I'm totally prepared for the third option where some people may have wanted to ask if I have their recordings, and I do. So if you did happen to miss the sessions from February, I put them in the Zoom chat right now. And thanks for answering. And good to know that we have a lot of new people who haven't attended the past AIOps Power Hour. So we try to cover different topics in every session. The sessions that happen in February are not the same as what are going to be happening over the next few weeks. So just keep that in mind if you want to attend the next few sessions as well. So I just want to figure out where people are and how familiar people are with the series. So again, it's a 90-minute webinar, and we usually have them in sets of 3 over 3 weeks where we cover various AIOps topics with ITOM experts. But anyways, on back to the presentation today. So I just have to do some housekeeping before we continue on with the presentation. And one of those things is a safe harbor notice for any forward-looking statements I may make. So today there will be a lot, actually, there will be some forward-looking statements and maybe some throughout the presentation, but mainly at the end when I go over roadmap. So everything that I talk about today and everything Brandon and David will mention and people who may mention in the Q&A is to the best of our knowledge right now, but things are always subject to change. So please do not make any decisions based off of our forward-looking statements on things that aren't actually officially released at this time. And then if you are interested in joining any of the future webinars, you can scan and see the schedule here of all of the various live on service webinars that are available right now. And they get updated on a weekly basis with new webinars that are being added. So it's usually about a month out, 3 weeks to a month out before the webinars that they're posted on like the live on ServiceNow page. Sorry, I'm just sending something. And then, yeah, so on to more housekeeping items. So we've saved time at the end for Q&A, but also feel free to put any questions that you have in the Q&A panel, not in the chat. It's easier for us to keep track of it when it's in the Q&A panel or module of Zoom, so please put them there. And this presentation will also be recorded and shared on the ServiceNow community, with the exception of the roadmap part. So if you want to hear a bit about the analysis for ITOM roadmap for the next 2-ish quarters, you have to stay till the very end of today's presentation, or you can ask your account team to meet with someone. And then after this event, you'll also be prompted to fill out a short survey. So again, thank you for your feedback ahead of time. And if anyone's new to webinars with Live on ServiceNow, this entire ServiceNow service that we have, about a week after the webinar takes place, you will be sent an email from Zoom, which gives you a link to where the deck as well as recording is posted. So anyone who's asking about will the recording be posted? Yes, but you will have to wait about a week until Zoom sends out that email and we have everything up on YouTube. And then there is this other slide, which is about putting AI to work faster with customer service. So if you're interested in any of these other various services that ServiceNow offers, like ServiceNow Impact, training and certification, This will be available on the deck that you'll get access to in about a week, as well as you can scan any of these QR codes. So I'll just pause for a minute in case anyone's trying to scan any of these. But again, it'll also be available on the deck that will be shared in about a week from now. So again, like I mentioned, AIOps Power Hour is a 3-part series that we have, which is recurring. Our first one for the AMS region, Americas, was in February of this year, and now we are doing our post-Knowledge 25 version, or K25. Again, these are 90-minute webinars as they dive deep into various topics with the fantastic AIOps experts that I have on this call today. And there is also live Q&A reserved for the last 30 minutes of every session, but also feel free to put any questions that you have in the Q&A. So the 3 topics that we have covered, or that we will be covering, are going to be Supercharge your event management with AI, how to achieve quick time to value for AIOps with RapDev, which is one of our fantastic partners, as well as how to enhance service visibility with observability data. So touching into the world of service observability, if you were not already aware of this new capability that we released with Yokohama this year. So I just named off all these 3 very cool webinars that we will be hosting, and you are already on one of them today. But I wanted to make sure, are you registered for the other ones that we have coming up? And for the people saying no, I don't understand why you aren't saying that you want to register right now. And I will casually share out the link for registration right now. So for those who are actually already registered for the other sessions, thank you. And for those who aren't, and for those who are registering now, also thank you. But the link's right there. It's very easy. You can register for the rest of the sessions right now. So that being said, I am very excited to see some of you in the future sessions. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started with the webinar for today. So in a bit more detail, this will be the agenda. We'll be going over, or I will be going over AIOps Now Assist and agentic workflows that we have currently available. And then I'll show you, or not I will show you, but David will show you, David Deitch on the call today will go over how you can put AI to work in the real world with one of the agentic workflows that he built himself. And then we'll have Brandon showing you the art of the possible and going through AI Agent Studio if you weren't already familiar about how you can leverage existing agentic workflows that ServiceNow offers out of the box, as well as how you can build your own. And then to finish off today's session, I'll be doing a quick overview on the roadmap for the other agentic workflows and general analysis capabilities that we have planned for the next 2 quarters. And then also time for live Q&A, but also if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the Q&A in Zoom as well. So again, hi, my name is Victoria Lowe. I am one of the outbound product managers for ITOM, and I focus specifically on AI Ops, and I'm excited to tell you about what we have right now. So if you're interested in learning more about today's topic, feel free to please scan the QR code in the top corner of many of the slides that we have coming up. And yeah, so please keep that in mind going forward, but without further ado, let's get started. So, oh, actually, there's also one thing that I forgot to mention. So today we will not be covering AIOps Leap because right now that type of workflow, that type of skill doesn't necessarily fall into the realm of improving the operator experience. But if you did want to learn about AIOps Leap in about a week, and I'm pasting in the chat right now, there will be a webinar recording made available through that community blog post that I just posted in the chat. So if you want to learn more about Leap, please feel free to access it through this in about a week from now. But otherwise today I'll be focusing more on skills and agentic workflows that help empower the operators themselves. That being said, if you weren't already familiar, I just want to do a super quick overview on what ServiceNow AIOps is at a quite high level. So what we do is that we want to ingest data with the contextual information from your business services that can be powered by your CMDB. And we ingest all the data, whether it's logs, events, or metrics, and we use AI to correlate as well as create actionable alerts and incidents and to identify any anomalies we have. And at the point when we processed all this information and processed it into actionable alerts, we ideally want to be able to predict problems before they happen and impact your business, also prevent issues and identify root cause as fast as possible, as well as automating any common issues that you may have through such actions such as subflows that you could create. So at a very high level, this is what ServiceNow AIOps can do. And specifically, with this entire experience of AIOps, the general goal of Now Assist is being able to automate the various processes within the realms that relate not only to the world of AIOps, but all the other related things like service management, as well as the other parts of ITOM themselves, like tag-based mapping, correlation, and so on. So at a very high level, this is what we want to automate. With AI, it's, again, a process. We can't automate everything at once. But overall, this is the goal where we want to be able to automate not just ITOM itself, but service operations as a whole to drive efficiency within the workforce. So everyone's favorite slide is probably not this one where we talk about the reactive to self-healing maturity curve, but I did want to talk about it today, or at least go over it very briefly, because this aligns really well with the agentic or kind of Now Assist related curve that we have as well. So you can see the main notes between all of these is that as your automation increases, you're able to go up the maturity curve. And so this aligns actually really well with the maturity curve for all of the automation that can take place. So right now, with all of the Now Assist skills available that have been available for well over a year now, we were enabling users to get not only to level 3 level of AIOps, but as well as phase 3 of our AI differentiation curve, where we do have generative AI skills, but it still does require a human in the loop. And later I'll talk about how we are enabling now agentic workflows so that you can get closer to self-healing, closer to this phase 4 that we're talking about for AI differentiation. But starting off with the skills that we've had available now, because I believe this is a very important building block, I'll first talk about Now Assist skills and then move on to the agentic workflows that we have available. But in the realm of, again, we're focusing on the operator experience, we like to break down AIOps even more simply into these 4 steps, which include ingesting, enriching, and grouping alerts. Our first priority for Now Assist for ITOM, specifically in the world of event management and the AIOps experience for an operator who's looking at alerts, is that we want to help them in the response phase. And this is where we started off with our skills. And traditionally, in our current experience for response, you can go into ExpressList, you can view alerts, you can trigger remediation flows, and that is all a bit more manual. And it's not a bad experience at all, but we want to increase efficiency and empower operators to do more by providing them more information and automate some of their work with Now Assist and that fancy generative AI star. And before I even get started with talking about the rest of this, is that I want to know if you're actually using Service Operations Workspace yet. And I ask this because this is absolutely essential for even leveraging any of our existing Now Assist features. So if it's a no, I admit I forgot to add in if you're not a ServiceNow user, obviously it's a no. But for those who are saying they're only using it for ITSM or it's on the roadmap, I do encourage you to get started or at least start testing, because we have a lot of capabilities in the service operations workspace for ITOM related event management capabilities that are not available in the historical operator workspace. So if you want to be able to leverage the features we have right now, and I'll be showing you, please feel free. Yeah, I do encourage you to get started. And I did see a quick question about reaching parity between UI 16 and Service Operations Workspace. I assume you are talking about alert automation, and we are on track to achieve parity. We are about 90% of the way there right now, but there are some features that will take a bit more time. I'll be talking about it tomorrow in the What's New in Q2 webinar for AIOps, but we recently just released the ability to enable subflows directly in SO, as well as overriding CI binding. So there are a few other capabilities from alert management rules and event rules that we haven't yet released in the alert automation experience, but it is on track to get there sooner than later. And yeah, so I see a lot of people are saying no. I do encourage you again to get started with the service operations workspace if you haven't already. And hopefully, if anything, what I show you today will encourage you to at least try it out so that you can leverage the existing great AIOps experience, which has been out for about a year now, as well as if you want to use the Now Assist capabilities, you'll be able to leverage it as well effectively. So, again, I did want to gauge how or whether or not people are using ExpressList, because one of the things that a lot of the current capabilities are centralized on is being able to action alerts. And the place where we action alerts and respond to alerts is in ExpressList. And ExpressList, if you didn't already know, is a specific service operations workspace feature for ITOM where we have a live alert list, no need to manually refresh your Express list, and you can get a live view on all the alerts that you have coming in from your various sources that you have integrated with ServiceNow Event Management. And it gives you a lot of cool capabilities like link view, which is not shown today, but link view is one of those, as well as key information on alerts without having to leave the live view of alerts, because we have a very rich side panel giving you a lot of information. And on top of this, this is where a lot of our existing skills and generative AI capabilities are kicked off from. And again, if you're interested in learning more about generative AI to supercharge your event management or AIOps, please feel free to scan the QR code that'll be present in a lot of the slides we have coming up. So again, I want to talk about ExpressList very quickly in Service Operations Workspace, because that is where the bulk, if actually not all, of our Now Assist capabilities are at the moment. So let me start talking about Now Assist for ITOM. So I assume right now you are in this call because you want to adopt AI powered automation, or you're trying to and it's not going too well. But I'm curious to learn, what is your biggest challenge when trying to adopt these AI powered automations that we've been releasing and other BUs have been releasing as well at ServiceNow? So the results are looking pretty interesting. Right now, the majority of people are saying that, well, it's a close tie actually between the top four options, but majority still are saying that organizational buy-in is one of the biggest hurdles that they have when adopting AI. And that has been pretty consistent when we've asked this question in other channels as well. So it's interesting to see that it's also pretty in alignment with other results that we've seen before. And for those who don't see immediate value yet, I hope that we can convince you otherwise through today's webinar. So again, just shared out the results in case other people may have been curious. But let's get started with what it actually looks like. So analysis for ITOM started off with alert analysis. This came out in Q1 of 2024, and it is our way of helping and empowering operators to understand issues faster and to kind of combine all the information that's available in a human readable way, as opposed to having to skim multiple alerts, look through all the impact services and CIs, and have generative AI actually summarize all that information for you in a digestible way. And we not only do this by empower operators by giving them a summary, but we go one step further and provide an analysis where we're giving you additional information on why these alerts may have been grouped together, as well as probable root cause and next steps that can be taken either for remediation or investigation. And by providing all this information to operators who could be experienced or also not so experienced, we're now empowering them to actually take action on their own for these alerts, as opposed to just automatically escalating these issues that come up as alerts or reassigning them, and as a result, wasting the time of other people on the team as well. And so this capability can be shown right here in ExpressList for one of these many alerts that we have. I can do it for this. And for skills specifically, skills are each manually triggered. And the current experience for this, as it has been, as it was released, is that we just click the Analyze button, again, in the service operations workspace in ExpressList, and then just like that, the summary is provided, as well as we provide, again, the analysis, which is probable root cause, as well as potential resolution steps or investigation steps that can be taken to fix the issue and hopefully prevent it in the future. In the case where you don't like this current result, you can also easily refresh it, or if you also want to save it, you can also easily do that here. The information is also actually saved in the alert form itself, right here in the details. So for future record, you also have this if you want to refer back, or if any agents who are acting on incidents, they could also refer back here. But we also have the additional capability to actually just open an incident. Sorry, I'm selecting multiple alerts right now, so it doesn't like that. But open an incident with analysis populated, which is this out of the box action that we have right here. So if I were to open this, then a new incident would be created with analysis for ITOM alert analysis populated in the incident itself. So right now it's just the whole process of the incident opening. But once the incident's actually opened on this alert, which you can see right here, then alert analysis will be directly populated here. So it actually even reduces the amount of clicks and the complexity where an agent may also have to go back into the alert itself. We are just providing all the information in the description already, instead of having it be the exact same thing as the alert itself. And so this streamlines the processes between ITSM and ITOM. In addition, one of the other existing alert analysis capabilities, which I'll talk about how this can actually be improved later on with our agentic workflows, is that we also provide the option to have, I'm actually looking for a better one, to have this alert group, for example, potentially be updated with alert analysis as well, using one of these summary bullet points to provide a more understandable and straightforward version of the alert group description, as opposed to just reusing one of the existing alerts that are grouped in this alert group itself. So just another one of the analysis capabilities that we have available right now. And in addition to this, we can also go through Oh, sorry. Before I move on, just in case people are more interested in additional detail, is that we also have this architecture slide that I built where if anyone is curious, the specific information that we send to the Now LLM service is the alert group type, alert descriptions. If they're multiple, if it's a group, we'll send multiple, relevant CIs and impacted services. And this is all fed into the Now LLM service with the alert analysis prompt for summary and analysis. And then it is, I don't want to say spat out, but it is fed into the existing alert form itself. And at the point when you refresh it, then it'll just be fed back into the Now LLM service and it'll just regenerate a new response again with the same prompt and same information. And yeah, so that is what I want to mainly show you for the alert analysis skill. But moving on to the other skill that we released in Q4 of 2024 is alert investigation. So alert analysis is really great when you have some CMDB information, you really don't have much of a starting point and you need to start somewhere. And alert analysis is really helpful for that, to give you a jump off point to start your alert analysis. But in many cases, and in many organizations, you may actually have additional information housed within incidents themselves. And so it would be really useful for users to actually have access to this without having to manually go in and search for all this information themselves, which can be a bit a bit time consuming and a bit tedious. And so with alert investigation, we want to have Gen AI or Now Assist do that for you, where we can automatically, or not automatically, but with a prompt, investigate all the historical incidents that you have and identify the top related ones. And on top of that, also go ahead and summarize the resolution notes of these past alerts that we have coming in. So if I were to open this alert record right here, and then this one, I'll just open a new one. This is, again, the analysis panel if you're not aware, but analyze related incidents for the specific alert. And so now we're going to be using AI search to actually identify any related incidents. And if there are no related incidents, it will tell us. I admittedly did not check this specific one before, but at least there is a result. So through AI search, we're able to identify the top 5 related incidents. And again, these have to be closed or resolved because we don't want them necessarily identifying and summarizing information for things that haven't actually been resolved yet. And we provide information on when it happened last, as well as the criticality and other key information like who was the resolver as well, because this is really helpful when understanding who you could potentially contact in order to actually fix the issue. And if there are any resolution notes, which there are not, admittedly, on the incidents that were identified, but those will also be summarized too, so that they have actionable steps that they could try replicating in order to fix this issue that is identified as a similar issue to the incidents historically. And then we also link you as well to all the specific incidents that we found. And so for a better result, you can actually see that in the screenshot, it's hard to figure out and remember every incident that I've made, is that if there are actual notes, we do provide more like helpful information, such as in here, we can see that in the related incident, someone said that they investigated the processes and looked at the applications consuming the most CPU resources to identify the root cause, and the rest of their actions probably weren't the most helpful in what they put in the resolution notes. But even for an operator who didn't really know where to start before this, now they know that they should at least start investigating the processes or applications which is causing this alert in the first place, as a good point to start off. And again, for the architecture information, there's a bit more that happens with alert investigation. So we take the alert description as well as any relevant CIs, and then we use AI search to identify related incidents. And from the incidents, the information that we pull is the last occurrence, the criticality, the resolution notes, as well as assignee or assignment group if that's available. And then we feed it to the Now LLM service with the alert investigation prompt for alert summary, not alert summary, but incident summary. And then it feeds back the information to you in the analysis panel, summarizing all the information on the top related incident. So again, this heavily reduces the amount of time that an operator would have needed to take in order to find those top 5 related incidents. And by using AI search, we're actually also decoupling the dependency on CI binding to alerts. So if maybe you don't have CI binding with all your alerts and only just some of them, by leveraging the alert description with AI search, it helps expand your search radius that otherwise you wouldn't have been able to leverage with just related CIs. And again, if you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A. But now, before I hand it over to David shortly, I just want to quickly go over where we are right now with our first step into phase 4 of agentic AI. And so just this release, we are starting to implement what we call the IT operations of tomorrow, where we're having agents help with alert investigation, observability tasks, as well as service mapping. This is kind of just the general overview of what we want to release, but the actual agents that we have right now support the specific workflows of triaging and analyzing alerts. And this helps you automate the initial process of triage and analysis of alerts, and it heavily reduces the amount of time that's needed for operators to manually do all of this. And it also leverages some of our existing skills in a more cohesive workflow so that you don't have to manually trigger these skills like I was showing today, but it can all be done in the analysis panel. And what better way to show it than in an actual demo? So this prompt right here, triage and analyze alerts, is how you can trigger the specific agentic workflow that we have. And since I have this alert selected, I think because I have 3 versions of the same instance open, it does not quite like it right now, but let me just do it again. So now I'm going to triage and analyze alerts for this alert group right here. And step by step, it'll tell me exactly what it's doing. And the great thing about this is that the AI agents are doing all this, and I could actually just go ahead and do other work and investigate other issues while the AI agents are doing the work for me. And right off the bat, it tells me all the steps that it's going to take, and now it's going to kick off the rest of the flow. And starting off with acknowledging and assigning the alert, obviously, since I'm looking at it, likely should be assigned to me, and I can also choose the group, sorry, I was supposed to type 1, that's supposed to be assigned to. And just like that, it's going to start assigning the alert to me. And we can see, well, right now today I'm Jason Smith, but assign it to me in the specific assignment group of flow stars. Because my user had 2 groups assigned to them, that is why I provided 2 options. But if you only had 1, like flow stars, it would only have assigned it to flow stars automatically. And so now it just gives you a quick summary in case maybe you just kicked off this flow immediately. And so it's just providing that for you. And as you can see, it's actually also populating the information directly into the work notes so that you can go back and look at this if you'd like to not sift through all of your other conversations. And now scrolling down again, this is just alert analysis, what I showed you earlier, but in the format of this agentic workflow. And like I said, one of the other skills is updating the alert group description. And now instead of having to trigger that manually, the agentic workflow is asking if I want to do it. And now I'll just click that, yes. And it'll continue going through this and also investigating any historical incidents if it can find any, as well as looking for any information on patterns of historical alerts. And it'll summarize all that information for me, again, here without me doing anything else. It may ask for some prompts like yeses and nos on if I want to continue for some things that may not necessarily be relevant. But all this work, again, is being done through this agentic workflow without me having to manually go through the alerts and alert forms and trigger all this information myself. So again, it's leveraging the same skills that I showed you earlier. So this can take a bit of time, which is why it's also really useful to do other work while the AI agents are doing this initial work for you. But again, this is a lot of time that is being saved by enabling AI agents to do the work for you. And the other workflow that we released is for agentic observability. So this one is where we go beyond just working within ServiceNow, but also enabling you to connect with agents from your other tools, starting off right now with Kentic as well as New Relic. In the future, we'll also be supporting integrations with other AI agents. But through this, we're breaking down the silos between teams with their various tools that they have so that they can effectively access information from their other tools and work with other AI agents in order to access key information that may not otherwise be directly on ServiceNow. And so for this one, I've already triggered it. But we can see right here that I prompted to analyze alert impact. And just like that, it started fetching New Relic's incident report. It gives you information on what the user impact is. In this case, is unknown, but it also gives you a direct link to the incident insights. And then it follows up and prompts you on more information that you could ask, like, have there been any recent deployments? There were not. Were there any root cause theories for this alert? And then it also provides you all this information, all from the New Relic agent as well. So this is the Better Together story, not only just within ServiceNow, but also working together with other agents as well. But without further ado, I just want to hand it over to David now to talk about how you can put AI to work with agents in the real world with his own agentic workflow.
All right. Thank you so much, Victoria. Hello, everyone. My name is David Deitch. I am a senior advisory solution consultant, ITOM, in our ITOM Center of Excellence. And our job in the Center of Excellence is to take ITOM and the newest technologies on the platform is to figure out how to make them better and do things that nobody else has done before. So I started looking at all the tools that we have on the Now platform. A lot of the out-of-the-box things that we've seen so far are conversational tools. And they take some text, they summarize it, and then we're able to interact with it in a very simplistic way there. And what if we could get actual execution out of this technology? How could we approach that to have it perform a task, provide information at hand? And I used to be the network manager at a school district, and I had people that, at each campus. And I had a wonderful debate that I lost about why my team had to go out and audit everything, because I knew it was there because I could see the MAC address on the network. But then what had to be done was we had to find the physical location and touch it. So how do we find a physical location of something that's plugged into the network that we don't know? That was the use case that I built this around. So in ServiceNow, you come up with a use case, and then you have access to AI agents, and those AI agents can use tools. So this has access to a tool to find things by MAC, to look up to location for a CI. And then I added one because I needed some orchestration here. And what ends up happening is I end up with a use case, find equipment by MAC address, and then I'm going to copy in, and I can write anything. And also, what's kind of cool about an LLM is the formatting doesn't really matter. I can just go remove some colons. I don't have to teach anybody MAC address formatting. The LLM handles that for me. So if we change the applicability, when we do this, we actually extend and get some extra benefit from our tool. Let me go ahead and start this test. First, it's looking at the agents that it has available, and it's putting them in order. So I've orchestrated this. It says, okay, first I have to find the things, then I have to look up the location, and then I'll go ahead and clean everything up. While this is running, I'll point out that the second agent, look up location for CI. I'm working on a framework that helps us do this. That second agent follows principle 2, which is repeatability. Okay, great. It's going to embarrass me live. Let me see if it will do it with my colons back, since the LLM didn't want to handle that for me. I apologize. Let's try one more time. I knew I shouldn't have tried that for the first time on camera. That is probably the biggest mistake I will make this week. I can handle that. What I didn't do was give it the instruction that it was allowed to change it. So I know what I want to do to fix that problem. Um, if this doesn't work, it probably just wants to embarrass me completely. Let me make sure I added the colons back correctly. I seem to have done that. Yes. Um, yeah, it was looking for an exact match, and that's kind of the problem. And I know how to troubleshoot that. I know how to troubleshoot that on platform. Okay, we found the correct location. And I'm pointing out now, I didn't want that to know the extra information of the MAC address. I wanted the MAC address to be not involved in looking up the location of a CI to make sure that this second agent was a repeatable agent and could be used repeatably. So I've created an architecture and now strung these three agents together and embarrassed myself in the process. So that was kind of cool. Happens every once in a while. But it tells me where that MAC address is, on what device, and then where that device is located, in this case, at home in my lab. So this is where you can head with this technology. And I know we showed the safe harbor at the beginning. We are now moving off platform into what I am working on next. But here are the things that I can do with an LLM. I can train it to understand what to do. I am looking at how to do what I can do in a straight LLM and combine that with the ServiceNow platform and do more execution. So this is my safe harbor because I don't know how to do this yet on ServiceNow. But this is what I have coming with agentic AI and what it can do. And instead of having to troubleshoot, I can just point out an error, tell it what I think went wrong, and then it can diagnose the problem for me. And then if I don't love the resolution, I can add one more prompt, help it a little bit, and then it gives me the resolution that it did. I don't know how much of this I'm going to get in ServiceNow, but I will get some of this in ServiceNow, some of this experience. And this is the future of what we can do with this technology, and ServiceNow is leading the way. So thank you for having me today to explain where this technology can go. I really appreciate your time. And I think, Brandon, you get to go next, right?
Here's your intro slide, Brandon. Thanks, David.
Thank you.
Oh, we did have a question. It's in the Q&A specifically for
Oh,
you on
sure.
what version. Oh, she was curious on what version of AI Agent Studio was used.
That's the most up to date. So that's going to be something in your com.
Got it. I'm just putting that out there. Brandon, go ahead. Thanks
Yeah,
again.
I'm looking from the, you'd think I'd know exactly where all the share button and stuff is after all this time. Okay. Oh, there's the extra. Okay, double click worked. Okay. Forgive me for that little pause. My name is Brandon Strickland, also a member of the ITOM COE. So Dave already did an awesome introduction for what we generally do as our roles. So I'm going to extend what Dave showed. He showed you the art of the possible, the outcome itself, right? What I'm going to show you is I'm going to give you, it's kind of half tour, sort of half demo. I'm just going to give you a little brief sort of walkthrough of the AI Agent Studio and some of the options there. I do have some use cases and some agents that I have created for some of my accounts to show the art of the possible as well. So we'll probably go in there and take a look at those, and then we'll take a look at some of the out-of-box ones as well, and just some of the other capabilities of the AI Agent Studio. So you can see I already created a favorite for the create and manage because I spent a lot of time there. But I'm going to go to overview just so that we can take a brief tour. I do not have the latest and greatest version. I think I'm a patch behind. So if there's a little disparity between what folks saw if when David was in his studio doing testing and when we're in this one, that's very likely the reason. So as we see, we've got an overview page, right? It's got all of the use cases and AI agents. So if we wanted to go through and take a look at all of them, we're certainly able to do so. Um, what we can do is, let me just go back. We also see some of the more recent artifacts in the AI agent workspace that have been worked with. So a couple of these are my custom ones. Um, and then, as you guys saw in the testing piece, this is where David went to do his testing. So um, we've got the ability to test an AI agent itself or a use case. Now, if you only have one agent in your use case, they're pretty much synonymous unless Victoria tells me otherwise, but I have seen no difference. But if you happen to have 4 or 5 agents or multiple agents in a use case, testing an individual agent versus testing the overall use case, obviously gonna give you some different outputs, just because you're not, you may be specifically testing one agent and its specific job, and not the entirety of the use case, right? So we've got some options there. As mentioned before, when we get in here, and even if mine errors out, which it is likely to do because I haven't run a discovery lately, um, um, we'll take a look at some of the options because I did see someone mention it in a question in the Q&A about some of the stuff that was showing up in the testing pane within the AI Agent Studio. And last but not least, we've just got a couple settings here where we can go in and, you know, protect ourselves. Now, this doesn't give you all of the governance that like our agentic tower. The name escapes me at the moment. Victoria, maybe you can back me up here.
Control
Control
tower.
tower. Oh my goodness. Sorry, folks. So obviously the control tower is a full offering of sort of governance and strategy and analysis rather. So this isn't that, but it does protect us a little bit, offensive things and prompt injection. So just kind of keeping our prompts safe. Okay. There is another area where we can go in and actually turn on our agents. I'm not going to be showing that today, but that's effectively the overall admin experience. This is more so for dialing in our agents that we have decided to install, which in my case are mostly the ITOM and ITSM agents to be used in the service operations workspace. Okay, so let's just go take a look and we'll review some things here. So we're gonna just take a look at analyze discovery log errors. It's something I created for a customer. They asked me to do so. I did create one, which I thought was kind of interesting, and maybe we'll take a look at both of them. Victoria, you can just keep an eye on time if I get a little long in the tooth. Um, so essentially, my remediations from alerts and incidents. If anyone here has heard about Leap, which Victoria talked about, it's not part of today's subjects, but it's a really great product that is going to go looks at incidents currently. We'll look at alerts and does a lot of really cool stuff behind the scenes to essentially surface opportunities for automation through our predictive intelligence ML engine on platform, and then it will actually use the text to playbook to create a framework to solve whatever that problem is in an automated fashion, right? So I'm not going to go too deep into that, but this was sort of my poor man's um, Leap replacement. Before it was G8, I would never suggest anyone do this now that Leap is out. It has so many more bells and whistles. But as you can see here, I have just some real light information. We're going to get into the agent in just a second. I could say save and continue, or I could just click on define trigger. They are They are the same when it comes to the interface here. I have no triggers currently, right? We can have triggers for agents. As we know, agents are a little different than skills. Skills generally have a button, a UI action, or something associated with them, like the alert analysis. We saw Victoria smash the button over in the flyout pane in the express list. We also watched her use the drop down for the quick actions. The AI agents are a little different. It can have a trigger, obviously, and it will run during that trigger, and that is what will kick things off. 9 times out of 10, what I've been seeing is the out-of-box agents have been accessed through the Now Assist panel, which is simply this fancy fella right here. So, and the reason for that, and you can pin it so it's always on your um, on the side pane if you would like to interact with your agents. But the reason that is done is because of the calls that it makes. And I think if you want more control over when you want to run that agent automation, due to licensing or whatever other reasons, then that can be done in the panel. Otherwise, you could define a trigger and it would just run. Okay. I'm just going to pause here to see if we have questions. Richard, I can answer that live unless you're almost done typing your answer, and in which case, I will let you off to the races.
I'd like to hear your live answer as well before
Yeah,
I press enter.
absolutely. So to answer that, I'm going to go into my agent and I'm going to skip the this just for a second. I'm going to come right back to it because what the question was is, can agent tools connect to workflow data fabric? No copy data, et cetera, et cetera. So we can see here, let me just set this up quickly by saying the tool I'm using currently is just the data retrieval tool, okay? Or I believe it was search retrieval tool. We'll go in and take a look at it for a second. But essentially, it's the sort of the non-scripted, because there is a script, as you can see here in the tools. I'll just leave that open as I talk to it. And we can easily just get give me the first 100 records that meet this really easy filter criteria, and I'll show you that in a second. But we can script till the cows come home, as we always can in ServiceNow. What Richard was probably going to say is we've got the ability to run either flow actions or full-on subflows. And when we run full-on subflows and flow actions, we're kind of getting access to the workflow data fabric in general, because that's where those things will exist. So to your answer, yes. So if I had zero copy data transfer, I pronounced that wrong. I apologize. But if I had that as something that was in this instance, if I went into a subflow, I could set that up. And actually, I believe that it is an action as well, just like some of our other data retrieval actions. So yes, you have full access to that. So essentially, what the tool is, just to bring that all together, we want to prompt our agent to do the things we need it to do, right? Which we're going to go back and look at the prompt that's in describe and instruct. But in order to do that appropriately, we need to provide our AI agent with the appropriate set of data, right? Is it incidents? Is it changes? Is it both? And how do we want to narrow those? Is it just closed changes with success criteria? Is it resolved incidents with proper closure notes, right? And then our agent is going to have all the right things, in theory, to be able to carry out its thing that it's doing autonomously, so that I can go do other value-added tasks, and not those heavily repeated sort of monotonous tasks. Okay. I don't see any questions currently in the Q&A pane. So let's just click in here and take a look at which one this is. Retreat. What was it? Oh, edit record operation. Okay, so that's what this was. So in this case, you can see I'm just looking up records. It's a lookup, not a create. Okay. And you can see I've just filled out, right? Our normal filter pickers, not a big deal. I set it to 5 records max because when I was showing this for the customer, I had a very small amount of time and hundreds of records was taking too much time. So you can simply dial that in for whatever specific case you have. And then we've just got some fields we're returning, order by, sort, all that kind of stuff. And then more importantly, are we just allowing this to feed it back and essentially hand it to the agent autonomously? Or do we want a human in the mix somewhere, right? Which, depending on the trust level or the outcome needed, maybe we want a human to be involved to a certain extent, not because we don't trust the AI, but maybe that's just part of the process is having a human click a button or input something. It's really hard to say. There's so many, almost endless use cases. Okay. I don't need an output transformation strategy because I'm simply feeding the data to the agent. Okay. All right. So you can see that describing the AI agent, I was probably a bit laxed here. These don't need to be as in depth as the prompt, but I am to understand the more I do this, that even for describing the AI agent, just in the name and the description, adding some specific verbiage there is suggested. Obviously, the real deal gets into the role and the instruction. And it's, if anyone has done prompt engineering, all the same things apply. So capital letters carry more, or excuse me, capital instructions, capitalized instructions carry more weight. We want to be explicit about some things, telling it when to stop, telling it what not to do, because it will do whatever it thinks it should do if you're not explicit with the instructions, right? So I'm not going to get into what prompt engineering is, but you can see how I have sort of formatted all this to tell it what I need it to do. Okay. So that's pretty interesting stuff. We can attempt to generate this with Now Assist. My specific use cases were such that I found that essentially what I did is I went into I went into other AI agents and I blatantly stole from those prompts and then I tweaked it for what I needed. Okay, and to that manner, I'll show you how you can duplicate both use cases as well as individual agents. It's very easy to do. We prevent you from editing the out-of-box agents for obvious reasons, upgradability, manageability, and things like that. But we do obviously give you carte blanche to duplicate those artifacts. Okay. And then simply we're defining the availability. Again, I am turning it on, and we know that that it's run through the Now Assist panel. This is the agent itself, which is going to roll up to the use case, which is available in the panel. So that kind of gets inherited. All right. Let me just go back to the one that I think will work if I test it, because I just wanted to, I'm not so much trying to show you the outcome here. I want to show you just some of the testing pain that Victoria and Dave didn't have to really go into because they weren't triaging. But we'll show you that just so you're kind of up to speed. Here is the duplicate. You can do it within it as well, which I'll show you when I go into my analyze discovery log errors. Did I not click on that? I did not. So we can also do it here. All right. You won't have the delete option on the out of box agents. Certainly it's on mine because I created this. You'll notice a lot of the stuff looks very similar. So what we're going to do is I'm actually going to, I'll pop in here and show you the tool that I use. Very similar to the other tool. And my instructions, pretty similar to the other instructions. This one's really short-sighted. Probably could build that out a little bit more. But without further ado, let's just go in and we'll test it. I guess we'll test the use case as a whole. And I'm making this up as we go because I forget what prompt I gave it when I gave that demo. We'll just see what happens. Again, it's not about the outcome. I'll say that one more time. It is about the sort of just the look and feel here. So you see the testing scenario was there. We're on the output over here. So what we can see, if I just kind of open all this up, is first the orchestrator is deciding, hey, like what agent am I going to hand this to? It's pretty obvious in this case. Oh, there it is. All right, and we get some pretty interesting stuff here. So it's basically telling us what it's going to do. It's giving us some options. It's seeing that we need to get the errors first. So hey, let's go get those errors. So it's running this tool, and you can see, oh, how many errors did I tell it to get? This might actually take a while. Oh, it's just 100. Hopefully this will work well. It's a better body to run the LLM against anyway. So you can see we've returned these errors. We can actually go look at the errors should we wish. We can see a lot of these look to be all pattern based because they are all heavily abstracted. Let's scroll down here. All right, so we can see things are running here. Another tool is being used to get the data behind the scenes. This is not, as you can tell, some of this stuff is not related to what I did. This is just this is the now LLM running behind the scenes. So just more logging information. So most of what you'll need is over in this pane. There are, and this is not the time for this call to explain. We're really trying to keep this within the envelope of AIOps and helping to resolve and remediate and triage. And this isn't even related to AIOps, so poor choice in example, I suppose. Apologies, but still an interesting use case, and you got to see sort of the logging that comes in the studio for us to be able to put our agent together. And then I've got some testing output here and some pretty interesting analysis by the now LLM. So cool stuff. I'm gonna pause.
That being said, so again, if you haven't already registered for the next AIOps Power Hours that we have, and we have two more coming up, feel free to sign up for the webinar in the links I post in the chat. If you have any Japanese coworkers who are also interested in webinars, we have some coming up as well. Tomorrow I'll be hosting a What's New in AIOps. Next week, we'll be hosting a How to Achieve Quick Time to Value for AIOps with RapDev, which is one of our partners. And then next week, we will also have another webinar about how you can enhance service visibility with observability data. So service observability, if you haven't already learned about it. And for those of you who may or may not be new to the world of AIOps, we have some upcoming customer workshops in the following cities across EMEA, as well as North America. And some of these have registration links up already, some of them don't. Keep an eye out in the link through the blog post that I posted below. And if you want to view any of our past AIOps Power Hours, feel free to also look at that blog with all the past recordings.